Good morning and welcome to the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff and I am the owner of the Modern Skein, which is, a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. It is a beautiful day finally. The sun is shining. It has been so dark and dreary and rainy and nasty and icky and weather for the past seemingly months. I'm sure it's only been like 4 or 5 days, but I'm so happy to see the sunshine today. So happy. Also very happy to be clutching a cup of coffee this morning as well. We won't say how many cups this is. But if you tune into the podcast regularly, you know, or if you just come in the store, I usually have this in one hand and yarn in the other. And no, I haven't figured out how to knit with one hand and sip coffee. That would be a feat. But I digress. So welcome to the podcast. This is episode, what is it? I should really look before announcing things, but I believe we're on episode 58, maybe 57, 58, somewhere around in there. We haven't hit the 60 mark yet. Close though, I know that. So yeah, it's a wonderful day in the yarn shop, people. I hope you can come by maybe today or tomorrow and enjoy, because it's supposed to be sunny both days. So it's a great day. It is cold, so wear your knitwear for sure. But it's a beautiful day to drive up and look at the shop. If you haven't been here yet since we've done the remodel, as you can see, you should definitely come. I would say it's 99.9% done. All the construction stuff is totally done and everything is up and out. I'm still tweaking arrangements here and there, and there'll probably be another piece of furniture coming in soon. I don't know quite yet when, but yes, so exciting. Okay, moving on. So, as you might notice, I am wearing a finished object. Can't really see it from here, but this is my Cumulus blouse. Yay! Finally finished it. Have I finished Kova? No, I haven't, but we'll look at that in a moment. But I finished an object, finally, because it had seemed like forever and a day since I finished something finally, so I'm going to stand up so you can get a proper look. Chair. So this is the Cumulus blouse. My pants up. So I just have it over a little long tunic top. It is a very deep V, so very deep. I would have preferred that, but I could go back, pick up the neckline stitches and knit them up maybe an inch and then I-cord bind off, or I-cord tighter, and it would pull it up, but I doubt I'm going to do it. And it's pretty see-through anyway because of, you can kind of see that, see-through, just because of the construction. It's 2 lace weights held together. So I used lace weight, Shibui Lunar. No. Yes. No. Yes. How many times can I say no, yes, no, yes? Shibui Lunar and the Tweed Silk Cloud. I'll go show them real quick. So this is the Shibui. So Lunar is a 60% merino, 40% silk, and the Tweed Silk Cloud is a 65% silk, 35% kid mohair. You could use basically any lace weight and mohair, or you could use 2 mohairs held together. You could also use just a strand of a heavy fingering or a sport weight by itself with no mohair, or you could do fingering weight and mohair. Totally up to you, but this is a cute pattern by Petite Knit. Overall, I like it. The armpit is a little low for me. I would have preferred, and see if you take this up. So in all reality, I'm gonna make this look funny. I probably should have knit a smaller size. I honestly don't remember what size, but see, it's, I mean, I don't have negative ease, but it's, this shirt's underneath is clingy, so it's kind of clinging, but yeah, I don't know. It's cute. I like it. I won't knit it again, just because I rarely, you're just seeing like this part of me. Hold on, let me sit. There we go. Because I rarely knit patterns twice anyway. This is not what I want to be. Okay. There we go. Long story short, it's very cute. I wanted a V-neck. I got a very much V-neck. I got a huge, deep V. Long story short, it was fun. I liked it. I was bored with it. I'll just tell you that. But I have noticed lately that anything in just plain stockinette, I'm getting bored with. Just me personally. No fault of the pattern. It's a great pattern. If you're looking for a V-neck, cute little lightweight top, highly recommend. Just know, if you're like me, you might get bored. Moving on. You get my face. I'm trying to reach a new shop sample that we have. It's so cute. So I had the Bonjour High by Espace Tricot. This is a free pattern. Ta-da! No. Free pattern by Espace Tricot. Hit up by, I always forget her real name. I always use her Instagram handle. Yarn Empress is her Instagram handle, Madeline. And she knit this up for us. It's so cute. It's like just perfect when you're cool. You're colder than you maybe want like a cowl or a shawl around your neck, but you don't want a full sweater or even a cardigan. It's perfect. And it lays really nice. I think that this one is the second size, as we had some yarn left over. We could really make up to, I think, the third size with just one skein each of a mohair and a fingering. So it's just this really easy, simple knit in the round, circular yoke end creases, and then a little ribbing, and you bind off. But it's very easy to wear because you just pull it over and it kind of rolls down a little bit, which is super cute, and then it just sits right on your shoulders. You have no constriction of movement as I'm flapping my arms on a video, but you can see it stays. Now if you hang upside down, it's going to flop in your face, but in all reality, who's standing upside down? Not me. Certainly not while I'm wearing knitwear. So anyway, so the yarn we used here is a skein of Red Stag Fiber Celadon, which is the light green, and then a skein of Serve & Stitcher Mohair in River's Edge, which kind of gives it that watercolor effect with the blues and the browns and golds, which is really pretty. So if you're interested in this, it is a free pattern, like I said, by Espace Tricot. It's called Bonjour High. Bonjour High. And like I said, it's free on Ravelry. If you want, we can help you print out the pattern for it and help pick out yarn as well. Great for a beginner project. Maybe you're knitting in the round for the first time. This would be a great little beginner project, and then you kind of get the feel for how it would knit, how a circular yoke would knit up in the future when you want to try a sweater. And I think that's just a great layering piece because you could bunch it up and wear it more like a cowl. You can kind of flatten it out and wear it more like a poncho. You can keep going longer with it. So I almost reached for the microphone to drink the microphone. Okay, so Cumulus Blouse and Bonjour High were the two finished objects. Me only finished one. Now, let me show you what I'm working on. I am still working on Kova. Again, nothing wrong with it. I'm having a severe case of squirrel when it comes to knitting, because I see something, I want to cast it on and knit it, and then I get bored. Not bored. I guess I'm just, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm ready to have the thing. I guess I'm more of a project knitter right now at the moment rather than a process knitter, although I feel like sometimes I am a process knitter because I enjoy the process. I don't know. I think this gloomy weather's not helped. But it's sunny, it's a new day. Maybe I'll finish this today. I will try to work on it. So I did finish one sleeve. So one sleeve is done. Yay! Super cute. And I have started on the second sleeve. Yay! Just a little bit. So once I do that, block it and it's done. So I really don't have a lot left to do on it, honestly. I need to go ahead and just buckle down and finish it. So I will be working on it today. Even though there's something else I really would rather work on. I need to focus. There's actually like several other things I'd rather work on. Let me show you this, because I did buckle down and work on this a little bit as well. This is my Plumpy. I keep wanting to call it Plucky. My Plumpy shawl by Andrea Renee. Oh, back up. That sweater that you just saw, the blue and white, is the Kuva, something like that, by Caitlin Hunter, Boyland Knitworks. And the yarn is Leading Men Fiber Arts. In their non-superwash worsted base. We had it in for a trunk show. We do not currently stock it, but there is possibility we will be stocking it in the future. Okay, so this is the Plumpy shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I have made a little bit more progress. You can see I'm now in the next brioche section. I think last time I was somewhere in this section. So it is a nice shawl. Bit of brioche. And I do love a good brioche. So this has been fun to pick up and knit on occasionally. I don't have that much further to go. On, I think, section 6. I want to say there's 10 sections maybe? I feel like I'm over halfway through, but we shall see. Okay, moving on. I have 2 other projects that I cast on and I started working on. Should I have cast them on? Probably not. But I did, and I'm very pleased that I'm happy that I did it. I'm sorry, I just got distracted. I realized we're out of certain needle sizes already, so gotta make a needle order. I see holes on the needle wall. Well, it's the hook and needle wall, because we now have a huge stock of crochet hooks, which I should actually run up and grab one. So last time I showed you the yarn for my Le Pouf sweater, and I did cast it on. So here's my progress. Ta-da! So I have split for the sleeves, and I've got maybe 1.5 inches past the sleeve. So this is coming along nicely. I'm quite enjoying it. So the colors are Life in the Long Grass, Tolometon, and then Ching Fibers. Just takes for the, I think the extra small, I'm not doing the small, I'm doing the medium. So I think extra throughout small through medium is a 5 skein fade, a large, an extra large, I believe are 6, and then it's double XL, and the higher ones are 7 to 8 skein fades, I believe. But it is supposed to be more of a cropped sweater, so it's only 9.5 inches from the underarm to when you bind off. Or actually I think switch to ribbing. But the ribbing is short. It's only maybe an inch. So it is more of a cropped little jacket than like a long one. So the pattern is very easy to modify in that you can just keep going. You will just need more yarn, therefore you will need more colors to fade. Although I still have quite a bit of my first 2 colors left. Probably, I haven't weighed them yet, but probably around 40 to 50 grams. So I could have gone longer with both of those colors. I just wanted to get more colors incorporated into the body. So yeah, I could have easily gone longer with the top colors. I could still technically be knitting with those 2 colors, and not have added in my 3rd color, if I wanted to, or if I wanted to lengthen the sweater, even with a medium size. Okay, so that pattern is called La Pouf, and it is a free pattern by Beata Jadzik. Free pattern available on the Hedgehog Fibers website or through Ravelry, but it still redirects you to the Hedgehog Fiber website, so just hedgehogfibers.com. Click on patterns, and it's La Pouf cardigan. She also has a La Pouf sweater as well, which is a pullover, if you prefer that versus a cardigan. Then I cast this on. So first off, this pattern is Veronica by Silvery Shannon on Instagram. It's Shannon Cook. Actually, Grace has knit this already, the Veronica, and you've seen it here in the shop. It's the brown, really cute little oversized layering piece. And, Grace's is cute and everything, and it was like, oh, this is super cute. Would I knit it? Probably not. It's not that it's not my style. I do like oversized fun pieces, but I don't know if it was maybe the color. I mean, I love brown, and it's a really nice neutral brown. I don't know if it was the thickness or what, but it was just like, it's nice. I would knit it. But we had a lot of ladies come in and knit one. They all look beautiful. We had one lady, we helped her fade it. So we faded it in, kind of like the rose cardigan. It's really pretty. But then, scrolling Instagram, as I do, I follow a lot of other yarn shops as well. I think we all, yarn shop owners, kind of do that, not to steal ideas, but as more of camaraderie. Like, yay, go you own a yarn shop. At least that's how I do it. I don't do it to steal ideas, for sure. You do you, I do me. But we can all support and cheer each other on. I mean, we're all small business owners. 90% of us are women. Support each other. I mean, I think we should. But that goes down a whole nother rabbit hole. Anyway, so I was scrolling Instagram, and one of the other yarn shops that I follow is Tribe Yarn Shop in London. It's not in London proper. It's Richmond upon Thames, or some fancy British, how they name their so-and-so upon something or other. It's so nice. Like, where are we? Montgomery, Texas. Where's your yarn shop? Ooh, Richard upon so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Okay, I have had too much coffee. Yes. Okay, backing up. Tribe Yarn Store. So the lady who owns that, her name is Millie. She's super cute. She has like the most amazing, funky, awesome sense of style. And her yarn shop's so fun looking. She has like these giant needles in the window and like hand knit Christmas lights for Christmas. It was super fun. Anyway, so she posted a while back, I remember seeing this, a Veronica, but it was like, I didn't recognize it as the Veronica at first. I was like, oh my gosh, what cozy, gorgeous wrap is this? And she did hers in brown, but then got bored with the color and added like a cream colored stripe in it, and then went back to the brown. but she also did hers at a different gauge. So hers is way more drapey and like a looser gauge. I think she even threw in a little bit of mohair. I'm not doing mohair, but it's just stunning. So if you go back several months ago, I think is when she posted it. So ever since then, I saw that. I was like, I want to do one, because the pattern originally calls for worsted weight. But I think what she ended up getting was closer to a heavy sport or a DK gauge, kind of. So I was looking at Red Stag Fiber yarn, and I was like, ooh, I could do one out of Welsh Slate, and then I could do a pop of a color stripe in Castle Rock, which is his second to lightest gray, and Welsh Slate is the darkest gray. So I was like, oh, I should do that, but I don't have time, whatever, so I put it on the back burner. Well, then a couple days ago, yeah, moody funkiness that I was in, I was going through my my saved photos, and I saw it again because I had saved it. It's like, oh, I should just cast that on. So I grabbed some yarn, and I did. So I'm knitting mine out of the Red Stag Fiber Croft DK, which is the 100% BFL base. So it is a DK weight, so it's lighter, but it's the Croft, so it's the 100% BFL yarn, which is blue-faced luster, and British blue-faced luster. And so it's got this crispness, but it also has, because I'm knitting it with the original needle size it called for, it's a little more of an open gauge. And once it gets blocked, it is going to be like the most drapey gorgeousness on the planet. So let me show you. Yeah, you can see kind of how open the gauge is right now, which I'm loving. Look at this. And you get such crisp texture in this ribbing and with this textured stitch here because of the BFL. So even once it's blocked and it's opened up, it will still have that crisp definition, which is what I love about BFL. So this is Welsh. This is Welsh Slate. Say that 5 times fast. And I will be popping in sometime, probably when I'm a little over halfway through, a chunk of Castle Rock, which is the light gray. I did not bring that with me. And I'm in the middle of a row, but I've already added on my back stitches. So it's a really unique construction piece where you knit it all in one piece, and then you knit this little back hem and then sew up right underneath the arms, but just like so this much. So it's like this big cocoony wrappy shrug. So yes, I cast that on, and I'm knitting the small size, which is anywhere from like a 30 to 39 or 40 inch bust, I think, recommended. Can't remember if that's the same one that Grace knit or if she knit one larger. She might have gone one larger, I don't know, but just to make it more oversized. But there's 3 sizes. It's all very oversized, and it's easily modified if you're maybe longer waisted or more petite. If you want to, Shannon has on her website, when you get the pattern, she has a link in the pattern to go to her website where she talks about modifications. If you want to adjust like the height of it, different things like that. So, I mean, you could easily just knit more. In the middle of the back if you need it to be wider, just longer repeats, more repeats basically, which would make it wider, because you're basically, think of it as knitting side to side. So that's an easy way to enlarge the pattern without having to do a lot of work or math. So yeah, anytime you want to really possibly modify a pattern, or you're concerned the pattern might be too small for you, or it's boxy and you don't want it boxy, but you still want a little boxy, We can either take a look, either find a similar pattern that's more to your style, or we can show you how you can modify the pattern, because modifying patterns is not really hard. It takes a little bit of math up at the beginning and maybe changing some numbers around, but it's not really hard. We're more than happy to help you with that. The other thing to say about sweaters that fit, we have a class coming up. I believe it is April 4th. It is the first Saturday in April. We have a wonderful lady whose name I forgot. I want to say it starts with a K. It's maybe a Kim or Katie. I'm so sorry if you watch the podcast. I've completely forgotten your name. But she's coming and teaching a class called Fit to Flatter, teaching the Amy Herzog sweater fitting method. So if you want to learn how to knit garments that fit you, no matter what your size is, that's the class to come to. It is 2 hours. It's going to be in the afternoon on a Saturday, so it's like 1 to 3, I believe. You're not actually like knitting a sweater necessarily, but we have all the details coming soon on the website and of course in our monthly newsletter. So that is just one of many classes coming up. We have quite a few classes coming up. We have our beginning lace class taught by John Francis. That is coming up, I believe, March 28th, and an April class as well. So it's a 2-part class. So it's $65. You get both classes. You need US 4 needles, circular needles, and you need 2 skeins of a tonal fingering yarn. Red Stag Fiber is actually a really good choice because it is mostly tonal. You could also do some of the Bedrock by Ching Fibers as it's tonal. And we have a few solid, less traveled yarn and Undercover Otters that would also work, but you don't want to use a heavily speckled yarn or really a speckled yarn at all. Not when you're first trying lace. I mean, later on, if you want to get adventurous, absolutely. But if this is your first time, which if you're taking a beginner lace class, it usually is, then you don't want to just give yourself more of a headache by trying to figure out what stitch is what because your yarn is so variegated or tonal or speckled. So definitely, if you're interested in that, we only have a couple spaces left because we are keeping that beginner lace class small, just so that everyone has some good one-on-one time and can really focus in and master learning how to knit lace, because you also learn how to read a chart too. So maybe you're not super interested in lace knitting, like knitting a bunch of lacy shawls, but you're delving more into sweaters, and a lot of the sweaters you want to do have maybe a small lace chart or a lot of charted designs. Not just necessarily color work, but like increases, decreases, cabling chart, but it's all done charted, like Yoko Otomoto's The Plum Sweater, or now she offers written instructions as well. But there's a lot of sweater patterns out there that are not necessarily lace, but that are fully charted, whether it be cables and things like that. This would be a great class to help you learn how to read charts and read your knitting. Even if you're maybe not thinking you want to delve into the world of Boo Knits lace shawls, but if you are really interested in charts and reading knitting, this would be a great class as well. Let's see here. We also have beginner knitting coming up this Saturday, which is tomorrow because I am getting the podcast up today. So if you're interested in beginner knitting, we are having one once a month. So just check the calendar for that. We are also having, what else? We have so many classes coming up. So many. We have beginner crochet class. Yes, for those asking, we do have a beginner crochet class coming up in it's either the end of March or April. Got to double check on that, but it's in the newsletter and it's in the email. So watch your newsletters. It's in the newsletter and the email. That's the same thing. It's going to also be posted on the website. And of course, we post updates on Instagram and Facebook as well. So like I said, if you're interested, let us know. We can get you signed up. The brioche class, that's the other class that's coming up. The brioche class in March is completely full, but I am working on getting another date for that one as well. So we would hopefully have one maybe in April or possibly first part of May. So stay tuned for that. I just want to run over. We got restocked on some books that we've had in the past, and we also got a bunch of new books in the shop. So I just wanted to take a moment and show you all the awesome book resources that we have. So real quick, we got restocked on Knitting Outside the Box by Bristol Ivy. Excuse me. This is a really awesome book. It looks great on your coffee table, but then it has really amazing patterns for both garments, for shawls, all sorts of things. And it has almost like a stitch dictionary in the back. Well, it is a stitch dictionary in the back, doing different types of cables, doing twisted stitches, lace stitches, elongated stitches, cabling, all sorts of things. And the patterns are super nice and extremely well written. She has things on how to work on short rows, how to work on lace things. It's a really nice book. I do highly recommend it if you're wanting to take your knitting kind of to the next level or get a little more adventurous in your knitting. This is a great book for you. Let me put these somewhere. We also are restocked on Within. This is a book by Jane Richmond and Shannon Cook, and there's some beautiful patterns in here. There's a pattern I want to do. Find the picture of it. There we go. I want to knit this. Isn't it so cool? It just screams cool and effortless. Yeah. So anyway, that's a book that we have restocked. We also have more copies of Interpretations number 5. This is the only Interpretations book I have currently stocked, but we're trying to get volume 6 in, but it has not been reprinted yet, so stay tuned for that. And then we have the Coco Knits sweater method. So if you are trying to knit your first sweater, or maybe you've knit some sweaters but you don't like how they fit, this is a really good book. Kind of is like a workbook to walk you through how to determine your fit, your style, how to take your own measurements, how to modify, how to add short rows, how to do backwards loop cast on, and how to do provisionals and modifying fits. And then there's all sorts of really cool patterns in here that they walk you through step by step how to modify to fit you. Do you carry weight on the top? Do you carry it more by the hips? Do you do it in the middle? Do you not have any? And I mean, just like all sorts of really cool tips on getting sweaters that fit you and flatter you as well. So that's a great book. Like I said, it's more of a workbook than just a book as well. Then some new books we got in. We have the new Loopy Mango book. So this is really fun. Everything in here can literally be knit or crocheted in a day. So we stocked the Loopy Mango, the Merino number 5, and the Merino number 5 and Mohair So Soft. Most of the patterns in here call for those 2 yarns. There's a couple other ones, but look how cool. So this is Oh-Jeong Kim, and she's the creator of Loopy Mango. Look how fun that is. Like, super fun lady. But yeah, the patterns in here are super fun. So definitely, if you're into big, chunky, or just fast knitting, this is a great book for you. Plus, it's really cool and kind of artsy looking. Then we have a few crochet books because we have lots of crocheters. So this is a really fun one. This is Crochet Therapy. This is just a lot of like, have some me time with yarn and your hook and just create beautiful things for your home. Just little things like a little bunting decoration. There's washcloth patterns in here. There's Afghans. There's baby Afghans. There's iPad holders. There's an eye mask. I mean, just some fun stuff. So maybe you've crocheted in the past and you're like, I don't want to crochet a shawl or blah, 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 or a blanket. But this would be just a fun little book of different things you could crochet. There's over 20 different patterns in there as well. And then if you're looking to up your crochet, this is the Crochet Stitch Dictionary. So if you're already learned crochet but want to explore different stitches, it's definitely a book for you. So it's like just a manual of all these different stitches and how to do them. So definitely a great stitch dictionary for crocheters. And then this book, this one, I just love this one. And there's several patterns in here that I would love to crochet. I do crochet. I haven't crocheted in a while. It does hurt my thumb, but if I pace myself, I can get some crochet done. But there's some fun cardigans in here. There's even a skirt in this one. Some shawls. This cardigan just looks so cozy. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Wouldn't that be just fun as a little cover up? So anyway, this, and there's some pillows and fun stuff. This book, oh, I didn't even see that. How did I miss that? There's a crocheted little swimsuit in here. Super cute. I love this. They have these little candle cozies or cup cozies. Let's find it. Aren't those just so cute? You could put them over like little pots and stuff. But anyway, so this is Carefree Crochet, 50 patterns, modern patterns for crochet. Then moving on, we have the new issue of Nomadic Knits. This is actually my last copy and it was just ordered online, so I'm currently sold out, but I have contacted them and I'm getting more copies sent to us as soon as possible, so we will be restocked. This is the issue, kind of the southern issue, so it's Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. There's some awesome patterns in here, so like I said, stay tuned. We will be restocking that ASAP. Then moving on to a little more, I mean, there's patterns in this book, but it's more of like a meditative book. Not meditative. What's the word I'm looking for? And there are patterns in here, but it's different. It's a real informative book, and I really enjoy it. This is Slow Knitting, and so Slow Knitting is written by Hannah Thiessen, and it's all about the concept. You've heard of like slow fashion movement. It's kind of about slow living, slow food, but slow knitting. So just pausing and enjoying the yarn, thinking about where you bought the yarn and who had their hands in it and the different fiber types and different makers and suppliers. So this is just a really fun read. Plus you get some really awesome patterns in here as well. You get that beautiful sweater pattern. There's some other ones too, but this is a really nice book, great for your coffee table or for your knitting library. This is a really good book. Then this we've been wanting to get in the shop for a while. This is the Knitting Comfortably. This is the Ergonomics of Knitting. So this is a book written by Carson Demers, who is like a physical therapist, and his specialty is in ergonomics, and he just happens to be a fiber lover, knitting, spinning, designing, and teaching and everything. But he is amazing at helping you prevent injury or like overcoming knitting injuries or just injuries in general. Let's just say, actually, I need to look in here and see about different things I could do for my thumb when I crochet. It hurts, and so like different ways to sit or hold my hook or hold my yarn and things like that. This is knit specific, but it would also work for crochet. This is a thick book. It's like a 2.5 pound book on like stretches for when you've knit too long, how to block without getting on the floor and contorting yourself. It's actually really, really cool stuff. how to properly wind yarn without hurting yourself. And then there's just some really cool stuff about yarn in general. And just a lot of really neat information. Different ways of holding yarns, different ways of knitting, pros and cons of how you sit. Like the type of chair that you knit in can really impact like your stress, which is crazy. Improving your awkward positions, how to not slump over with it. I mean, it's just a fascinating book. I could just sit here all day and just, ooh, look at that, ooh, look at that. So, knitting comfortably. And last but not least, this is definitely more of it's not a novel, it is a true story, but it's kind of more of in a novel type form. But it is Vanishing Fleece. So it's Clara's journey through America, trying to basically source American wool, and the account that she did going on a cross-country adventure, basically meeting everyone who has their hands in the American wool process. So, I mean, going through New York to here in Texas, Maine, all over, the benefits of American wool and why you want to find American wool. And that's one reason why I'm trying to source more American-made wool, American spun, Texas spun wools, because this country has a huge yarn and fiber history that has been, I'll say, almost thrown under the bus for years. And especially Texas. Did you know the Port of Galveston? I don't think it's in here, but I found this out going into Galveston History Museum. Port of Galveston, guess what their number one export was? Not import, export. Wool. From all the sheep that were herded here in the Houston area and out in West Texas as well. Literally, Galveston actually had breeds of sheep roaming down on the west end. And they had giant wool mills all up and down where the cruise ships dock. That used to be wool processing. Crazy, huh? And then after the hurricane, they never put it back. They instead went with other industry. But yeah, it was number one. So we have a fascinating wool history. And I could just spend hours talking about that. Okay. I think we need to bring wool back. We do. So that's why I opened a yarn shop. And that's why I'm passionate about educating people about yarn, and I'm slowly but surely bringing in more breed-specific and non-superwash and less chemically treated yarns, and just encouraging you to not always go by feel necessarily. So it's like, oh, this yarn is soft, I'm going to knit this. Versus, oh, this one doesn't feel as soft, I don't want this. Well, depending on the project that you're using or that you're wanting to make, it may be way better in the long run to go with something that you deem as scratchy, but in reality is not. Once you've knit it and blocked it, it's very soft. It's actually more comfortable to wear. It's not as hot. It's breathable. It's better on the environment. You've made a better environmental impact. You've supported local farmers. Just all sorts of different things. So I think it's just being educated and being aware of your decisions. Now, I'm not saying don't buy hand-dyed yarn. Don't buy superwash yarn. There's a time and place for it, absolutely. And obviously, I want you to buy the yarn that I stock in the store. But that is one reason why I do work with a lot of indie dyers. They work with the smaller mills. They work with the more local type things. I don't sell really any big box yarns. I do have some that are commercially dyed, but most of them are still small batch commercially dyed, done by commercial dyers that have been family owned and operated for literally hundreds of years. So it's knowing your sources and knowing that I'm doing everything I can to bring you the best that's in the yarn world. So I hope you trust and continue to join me on this journey. And that got really, I don't know. I hope that was good for you guys. Anyway, I am about to get the shop open and get going, so I will say bye for now. But thank you so much for tuning into the podcast, and we will see you next week. Enjoy and happy knitting.